designing a ski specific for North America is a difficult thing to do. We have a lot of freestyle, but we have a lot of hardpack. We have a lot of powder skiing, but we have AT skiing. We have a lot of different things here, coast to coast in this country. And to come out with an all-mountain ski that you can ski anywhere, anytime, it's a really special thing for sure.
How's the landing? I mean, it looks safe enough. Okay. You'll have to do a left footer right after.
Right.
Hey skiers, I'm Jeff from SkiEssentials.com.
I'm Bob. How's it going?
Bob and I are up here today. Both of us are skiing the new Atomic Maverick 100 Ti. Pretty cool skis. I'm really excited to get back in the studio and kind of show you how it compares to some skis of the past from Atomic, and kind of talk about influences and what went into this new design, because I think it's really cool. We've been doing a bunch of different stuff today, right, Bob?
Yep, and this is our second solid day on these, and we've had
pretty
good, I would say, Maverick 100 Ti conditions.
I think so.
Little new snow, a lot of different types of terrain, so we got a good mix of, terrain and conditions for these.
Yep. Right now I'm doing my typical make Bob ski moguls and do my best to follow Camham without getting bucked. So we're gonna do a little bit more of that. We got some really nice kind of mellow low angle moguls here at the bottom of the mountain. So we're gonna finish off this run, and then we'll catch you back in the studio to chat more about these new skis.
Bye. Solid air scores. They're only going to count 2.
Hey skiers, here we are back in the studio to talk more about these new Atomic Maverick 100 Ti skis. Before we get into the ski itself, let's just talk kind of a little bit about the development of these new skis. This was a pretty big project for Atomic, and they went about it in a slightly different and refreshing way compared to, I'd say, most ski development. So in developing the new Maverick and Maven lines, they used, I'm pretty sure they said 145 different prototypes, which is a lot. And they also used 60 different testers and a wide variety of terrain, kind of specifically focusing on North American terrain. But what I really like about that is Atomic kind of specifically said, like, we didn't just use ripping expert skiers. We used people from different ability levels, different skiing styles, et cetera, which has always been one of our concepts here at Ski Essentials. When we do our ski test, we specifically invite people of varying ability levels and varying backgrounds. Ski performance ultimately is pretty subjective. You can objectively say sometimes, like, this is a really good ski. And I think this is one of those situations, but truthfully, ski performance is very subjective, so I really like the idea that Atomic took a wide range of skiers in developing this ski to ensure that they're kind of hitting as many segments as they could. Like, it doesn't really matter if you make a ski that's really good for like the 1% of the 1%, but like no one else can ski it. You're not going to sell many of those skis, and if you do, the people that buy them are not going to be very happy. So I really like the kind of story behind the testing of this ski. I think it's pretty cool to hear a company say, like, yeah, we used a bunch of different style skiers and a bunch of different terrain, and this is what we got. So kind of the key to these skis, or the theme to these skis, is balance. They're really designed to work in a wide range of snow conditions, different terrain, different skiing styles, different turn shapes, all that stuff. I think Atomic took the feedback that they got from skis like the Vantage 97 Ti, which it replaces, and that was a good ski, but I think a lot of people said like, this is kind of tough off-piste. It's pretty demanding, pretty stiff. So they took some of that feedback, and I think that's a big reason why we get a more versatile ski now. So let's take a look at it before we really dive into performance and all that stuff. It's a little dirty from being on top of my car, so sorry Atomic if the ski looks dirty. I do think they did a really good job on the top sheet graphics, so I hope it doesn't look too dirty right now. But here it is. Couple key elements to this ski. We'll talk about construction and shape because those are kind of the two elements. Atomic is calling this Omatic core. So pretty new construction for them. They're using what they call a precision, specifically precision milled poplar wood core. And then you get two sheets of metal, one on top of that core, one below that core. That metal is notably 0.4 millimeter thickness. So not as thick as we get in some skis, and that's something that we've talked about for years now in skis like the Enforcer 100 and other Enforcers, and how you still get the benefits and the feel that we all like about metal without it being like super thick and super heavy. And then they finish it with fiberglass, top and bottom. It's all kind of pressed together in a classic sandwich construction, or what I would call a pretty classic sandwich construction. Vertical sidewalls. I do think it's like pretty interesting and worth noting how much the core kind of changes in thickness. So that's kind of coming down to that precision milling. And impressively, these skis are 1,800 grams. This is a 180 in the Maverick 100 Ti, and yeah, 1,800 grams is pretty darn light, especially considering there's two sheets of metal in there. We just had a similar conversation with the Elan Ripsticks about how those skis are very, very light. There's no metal in those skis, so pretty impressive that Atomic can achieve a relatively similar weight figure in these skis while still using some metal. So that's construction. Now, the shape of these skis is really important too, and something that I kind of noticed or started thinking about is there are some significant influences in this shape compared to an existing ski, which I'll talk about in the moment. So Atomic calls this shaping concept flow profile, and again, to get back to the idea of balance, this is specifically engineered to have a shape that works in a wide range of snow conditions. So good bite on firm snow, but still like playful, easy edge release in soft snow. This ski has 60% camber, pretty sure I'm getting that right, 25% tip rocker, and 15% tail rocker. If I'm off on those figures, I'll flash it on the screen, the correct ones, but pretty sure I'm right. Now, the side cut dimensions, interestingly, and this is something that like randomly hit me during the day as I was like, oh, it looks an awful lot like a Backland 100, and turns out they actually share identical side cut dimensions in the 180 length and share an identical turn radius of 19.2. The difference here, obviously the construction's a lot different. The Backland 100 is 1,400 grams, so this is 400 grams heavier. Two sheets of metal in here. Obviously, it's going to feel different, but very, very similar side cut dimensions, at least, if not identical. I don't know if I would go as far as saying identical because I haven't heard anyone from Atomic say identical, but it's awfully close. Kind of the difference between them in shape is this has less rocker, which kind of makes sense when you start thinking about like how a ski reacts. That's a lighter, softer ski, so you kind of don't need as much tip rocker to achieve a smeary, playful feel, so to speak. So I thought that was really interesting, and you can kind of see just the changes from a ski like the Vantage to this new Maverick, or having it next to that Backland is pretty evident as well. Much more taper in this shape, and that's evident in the tail as well. So this comes up when we're going to talk about performance quite a bit, but that taper in the tail really goes a long way, in my opinion, to affect the ski's performance. So where does the Maverick fit in the whole sea of ski options these days? I think that idea of balance is kind of the best way to think about this ski. Let's start with groomers, because we usually start with groomers. 60% camber, 19.2 meter turn radius, 2 sheets of metal, relatively stiff flex pattern. So simply put, you can charge on these skis. They feel like they don't have a speed limit. I bet they do, but it's probably like 70 or 80 or something. But they feel strong and quiet and stable. When you're linking carving turns, they don't feel like they're gonna flinch. They don't feel like they're going to get deflected by anything. They're really, really strong, stable skis, and I think that's what it should be. If you're gonna put 2 sheets of metal in your skis, it better be pretty strong and pretty stable. Something that I think is interesting about this ski, and it got me thinking about another ski, that ski being the M Pro 99 from Dynastar. When we reviewed that ski, one of the things that I said about that ski was because of the tip shape, because of the taper in the tip shape, I kind of describe it as a real skier's ski, in the sense that it's not pulling you into a turn. You kind of have to get it to make that turn. So if you're not giving a ton of skier input in this ski, it's gonna just make like pretty big radius turns. It doesn't feel like super snappy or like it's pulling you into a turn, but that's part of its appeal, in the sense that when you want to do that, you tell the ski that that's what you want to do. You kind of actively get your hip lower to the snow, actively get a higher edge angle, start really driving the forebody of the ski and getting it to flex. I draw a lot of comparisons to like an Enforcer 100 in this ski, in the sense that they're both pretty darn powerful with a quiet, stable feel, but are also versatile. The Enforcer is kind of different, as it feels like it's coming across the fall line quicker, where this you have to like give it the skier input, which is certainly not a bad thing. It's just kind of two different styles of how a ski is going to feel. Now the other side of that is this will make a bigger radius carve than those skis that do feel like they're coming across the fall line more easily, as well as it releases its tail edge more easily. So if you're skiing a groomer and you don't want to just link carving turns, which like realistically, I think most people when they're skiing groomers, they're not just linking railroad track turns. This pivots and smears and kind of does the like rhythmic skidding turns really well. And I think if it had like extended side cut, or if it had a much shorter turn radius, it wouldn't have that feel. Now, I wish I hadn't forgot about this, or rather just kind of glossed over it when we started talking about the ski, but they put Horizon Tech in the tip of this ski too. So that's one of the things that's kind of coming over from other existing Atomic skis. It's also like fairly soft, just right there in the tip. So this tip shape with that Horizon Tech, with the kind of tapered, rockered shape up here, it's not just feeling like it's gonna hook up all the time, which I think is good. And when you want to make a carving turn, if you want to make like a mid-radius carving turn, that's where like the idea of being a real skier's ski comes into play. And you can get it to do that, you just need to tell it to do that. But yeah, super smooth, super powerful. Definitely a contender in that around 100 underfoot, 2 sheets of metal category. There's like a good amount of skis in that category now, and this is a worthy contender, and it has its own personality, which I think is great. So let's transition to not groomers, because the ski is 100 underfoot. It's an all mountain ski. It better perform pretty darn well off a groomer as well. That edge release, that pivoting feel, that ability to make the pivoting, slipping, skidding turns, that is very evident when you take it into softer snow or ungroomed terrain. I had Bob ski some moguls on this ski. You saw some mogul skiing at the beginning of this video. Watching Bob ski this ski in moguls, it's obvious how much release you get out of this tail, and how they achieved such a nimble feeling ski is, I think, largely thanks to this tail shape. Like, let's look at the widest point on the ski. It's probably about right there. That's not much further back than like the back of your boot. And then this part of the ski just allows you to make those kind of quick pivoting turns. Now, in soft snow, I also think they work really well. You know, I think that tail shape comes into play in soft snow as well. Like if you have a really wide tail in soft snow, it's going to feel catchy and hooky as you're kind of swinging it around. I also think a big reason why it's so fun in soft snow is the horizon tip, or horizon tech tip rather. That tip really does a good job kind of adding some extra float and also giving the ski just like a smooth, intuitive feel when you're kind of pivoting or slashing through softer snow conditions. It's never grabby. It's kind of going back to that idea of it's not hooking up like when you don't want it to. It's basically just doing whatever you, the skier, tell it to do. And I think that definitely carries over into soft snow. And the weight really helps too. You know, if you're skiing softer snow or tighter terrain and you really need to get the ski to make some quick movements, 1,800 grams is pretty darn light. And then you add in the rocker tips and tails, the horizon tech, and you've got a ski that's pretty darn quick. So really cool new ski here from Atomic. I think it's like I said, you know, it's a new contender in this kind of 100 underfoot all mountain category, all mountain / free ride, whatever you really want to call it. But definitely a new contender and right up there among like those skis with 2 sheets of metal that feel powerful and aggressive, but it's more versatile, has more of a playful side to it than a lot of those skis. You know, like to compare it to another ski, we've thrown out a few skis in this review so far. You know, the Bonafide's a popular ski in this category, or like Mantras and stuff like that, the M6 Mantra. Those skis, I do think they feel more precise. Those would be good examples of skis that are like kind of more pulling you into a turn at times, but then they're much more demanding when you want to release the tail edge and get the ski to pivot and maneuver and stuff like that. So balance, you know, to go back to that term balance, I think they did a really good job giving this ski a balanced, well-rounded feel. And yeah, great ski. When I kind of, you know, when I was doing my digging and my internal research, so to speak, and I realized the similarities between this shape and the Maverick, I was pretty excited because when I skied that Backland 100 for the first time, I was impressed with that ski for very, very similar reasons. You know, that shape just works really, really well to do a variety of different stuff. So that's it. That's the Maverick 100 from Atomic for 2022. Let us know if you have any questions about it. We'll continue to test more skis. You know, there are a bunch of other Maverick and Maven skis. The men's skis go from 86 to 100. So we've been testing a whole slew of them, and we'll definitely do some other reviews. I think it would be really interesting to do the 88 review because there's, you know, similar to this 100 category, there's a lot of like really serious skis in that 88 category, a lot of established players in that game, so to speak. So we'll see how it stacks up against those. But yeah, overall, very impressive skis from Atomic. You know, balance of performance and weight, balance of firm snow performance and soft snow performance, and just a whole lot of fun to ski. It was also just fun getting to ski a bunch of other Atomic skis today. Just a reminder of how much fun that Ben Chetler 100 is. Such a simple build, but such a good ski too. So Atomic's got some good things going right now, in my opinion. And I just, you know, to go back to ski performance being subjective, but sometimes we can say objective things. I think it's fair to say objectively these skis are better than those Vantage 97 Ti skis. They have their differences, but just as an overall skiing experience, I think the Mavericks are a little bit more rewarding. So that's it. Let us know if you have any questions, and we will see you guys out there on the slopes.